It was not the turf for the Miami Dolphins and Tyreek Hill, who had one of the nastier, more grotesque injuries of this NFL season. You usually see those every year or two. Unfortunately, it's a violent sport. You have the most dialed in athletes, superb athletes that put so much torque and pressure on their joints. And unfortunately, sometimes it just becomes too much. And that's what we saw with Tyreek Hill last night as he goes out of bounds. And now we've learned, because when it happened, it was like, oh, maybe it's just a dislocated knee. But now they found out that he's also got an ACL. There's a ton of ligament damage in his knee, where he'll be out for a year. And honestly, with a guy of his speed and his capabilities, you might want to look away if you get squeamish. There it is. He goes down, knee, leg, ankles facing the wrong way. It was gross. And then that was the bizarre thing to me, was Tyreek's reaction. What was your theory behind this?
I got to be honest, man. I really don't know. People are saying he was fed up anyway, and he was looking for a way out. But I don't know that anybody thinks that immediately when they look down and their legs on sideways. I mean, it's so interesting that this happened, because I was having a discussion yesterday in the daytime. Like, Tyreek needs to put down like 1 or 2 real good years. This is so ridiculous, and I'm sorry if I'm going off the road here. But Tyreek has come into some. I mean, Tyreek's a father of like double digits. He's going through a divorce where his wife just, obviously she just won a settlement that's going to cost him a ton. So I was saying he's got to continue to play at the level he's playing and try to get himself one more nice contract. You said it, man. This is a guy who's built for speed. His legs are his bread and butter, and that's what he does better than everybody else. That's made him one of, arguably, he's probably floating around the top 10 all time as a receiver. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, because some guys bounce back, like you've seen Adrian Peterson. Tears the ACL, he comes back, and he looks like he doesn't lose a step. But then you see a guy like Odell, who's predicated on those quick, jerky movements and speed, and not the biggest guy, and he's never really able to get it back. And then once it happens, I think you're always more prone to having it happen again. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how Tyreek Hill bounces back from this, if Tyreek Hill bounces back from this.
I don't know what the reaction was. You never know. It didn't look like he was in much pain, which we had kind of talked about in the text thread last night. There's so much adrenaline coursing through your veins. It doesn't set in until you get into the locker room, or really until today, because you have so much, adrenaline running through your veins. From the standpoint of what he was celebrating, you mentioned Tua. He didn't have to catch passes from Tua. That was kind of the troll that was going around for Tua Tagovailoa. I wonder if he didn't want to move anywhere, because he was there were a lot of trade rumors around Tyreek Hill. I wonder if deep down inside he's like, all right, I can't get traded now because there's no trade value for him. I honestly don't know what the yes and celebration was. One of the more bizarre. Like, I get the thumbs up, like, let the crowd know you're okay, but he let out a verbal yes.
Yeah, I can only say, granted, I've never been Tyreek Hill. I dislocated my elbow playing. And I mean, before I knew what was happening, I turned my head this way. It was on sideways. I'm trying to wrench it back. I know. I think I was like half in shock, like half not aware what was going on. Then they put it back in, and I did go, you could feel it go back. Maybe he wasn't kind of completely with it. You look down and your leg looks like that as a guy this guy's whole life, let's be real, Tyreek Hill's identity is his speed. He's a guy who in the offseason goes and runs with the Olympic track team, and he competes. You know what I mean? His game was going to be, he's going to be able to play as long as he keeps that speed. And I mean, that's got to be a shock looking down and seeing that's your bread and butter, man. As an athlete, your body is your tool. To look down and see that, I can't imagine I'd be thinking normal 15, 20 seconds afterwards, right?
No.
What are you thinking?
I don't know. I don't know what you're going to go through, and we'll see. The Dolphins did get their first win. That was the good news. It was the New York Jets. So you have to take it with a grain of salt for the Miami Dolphins.